Oh, no. No, then we could be twins.
We appreciate you being here in support of these wonderful candidates we have tonight. So let's give them a round of applause. We know that it takes a lot of people to make a good school system strong. And I'm looking around trying to find our Seminole County Council PTA president. Here she is, Ms. Yadi Soto.
Thank you guys for being here.
And then my part-time job boss, Kathy Swervo, our amazing League of Women Voters of Seminole County president. And before I go to our moderator, I just want to mention that the artwork that you see up on the dais was done by the Seminole County Public School League of Women Voters students. And we made the Without further ado, what we really want to hear from are these fine people right here. I'm going to turn it over to my very capable husband, who is a judge, a very smart man, pretty witty. And the one thing about a judge and a lawyer is they do a lot of homework, candidates. So you better have your thinking caps on. Judge Redshaw.
Thank you very much. We should start this proceeding with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able to, please stand.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce all the candidates to you. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. So for School Board District 1, we have Christine Krause, the incumbent. For School Board District 2, we have Colton Mills. by the Seminole County Council PTA, by the Legal and Voters Education Committee, by parents, by teachers, and by me. However, we also want to give you an opportunity to ask questions, and there are papers and pencils that can be submitted to you. There's somebody walking around. If you want to raise your hand to take questions. Now, these questions will be screened for relevance for the school board position, not county commission, not anything like that, and as well as fairness to all candidates. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question unless otherwise instructed. When the timekeeper holds up a stop sign to candidates, you have 2 to 3 seconds to wrap up your answer. There will also be a 30-second warning. I know many of you, all of you, enthusiastically support one of these candidates. To allow a fair and informed debate, I'm going to ask that you not shout out questions and that you not applaud or boo anyone or any answer. You will most certainly have your opportunity to make your feelings known when you vote. Early voting will be from August 8th to August 15th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And of course, as you are all very interested voters, you already know, August 18th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is the election day for these races. I'd also ask you to please silence your cell phones during the debate. And finally, the views expressed by the candidates are their own and do not constitute endorsement by the Seminole County PTA or by the Legal and Voters. So we're going to start with Ms. Fresh. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to answer this question, candidates. Please tell the voters about you, including whether your own children are or have been in the public school system, what issues prompted you to run or re-up for the Seminole County School Board, and finally, what do you believe makes you uniquely qualified for this very important position?
Thank you, Judge. My name is Christine Krause, and I'm running for re-election to the Seminole County School Board. I am a proud mom of 4 SCPS graduates. I am a former preschool teacher. I'm also a classroom shooting survivor from Des Moines, Iowa. And I'm a lifelong classroom PTA, school advisory council volunteer. Since I was first, I spent the last 8 years helping secure millions of dollars to expand career academies, modernize school facilities, and strengthen mental health supports. We brought full-time social workers to every secondary campus, expanded workforce pathways in healthcare and emergency services, and created new routes for future teachers to enter the classroom. All this happened while maintaining Seminole County's A-rated public school system. I believe in safe schools, strong public education, and real transparency with parents and families. I'm running because our students deserve leaders who listen, lead, and deliver, and I'm honored to earn your vote to continue doing this work.
Thank you, Mr. Pizza.
So, I first want to thank the judge and the League of Women Voters and the PTA for hosting this amazing event. Not all communities have the opportunity to go out there and ask questions to our elected officials. The reason I'm running is because I'm a recent graduate of Hagerty High School. I graduated class of 2025, and I lived the school. I not only saw the effects of the school's board's policy, I lived them. Every day I would go to the school, and though I had one of the best educations I've done, I know a lot of my peers did not. And that's why I'm running. I'm running to stand up for them. I'm running to fight for the parents who feel that there wasn't enough transparency in the school. I'm fighting for the students who feel like they're simply being pushed through the system. And I'm fighting for the teachers who fear year after year of losing their job. So I kindly ask for you guys to consider voting for me. Because together, we will deliver a better education to the next generation. Thank you.
Mr. Mills.
First of all, I would like to thank the League and the PTA for putting this together. I appreciate the partnership with the school district. My name is Fulton Mills, born and raised in Seminole County. My life was changed when I was a student at Lake Brantley High School. I was in the Academy of Finance, and it was one of the first first large career technical education programs in our school district. Sophomore me, I was a 14-year-old and I thought it was a really cool elective. Little did I know that I would go on and build a career at the organization that sponsored that program. My story is very cool and it should not be rare. I am running for your school board to build partnerships so every student has an opportunity to enter the workforce if they want to post-graduation. We have a large population of students that walk across that stage with their diploma. They're not going into college and they're not enlisting in the military. We need to get them into our workforce. So I'm determined to build strong partnerships with our local industry leaders and CEOs and build on the great career technical education programs that we already offer. Thank you.
Mr. Clevenger.
Well, good evening. I'm Joshua Mills, running Seminole County School Board District 2. I am a proud father for all of them are Seminole County Public School students. 2 graduated successfully and 2 are on the way, so I'm almost at the finish line breaking. I have been here in Seminole County now for almost 20 years. My career is actually in public safety, so I'm drifting over into another form of public service. But along the way, one of the things that made me look at running for school board was working inside of our schools. School resource officer and school resource supervisor. I had a very unique opportunity to actually experience what our schools are on a day-to-day basis inside of the schools, not only operational, but then administrative. So the idea that, hey, I have just my one school to worry about, and translated over to, well, I have the entire city to worry about, 10 campuses, about 50 officers, and each and every family, student, administrator, and educator inside of the buildings every single day felt to me. That was my responsibility. So that's a unique thing that brings to this board, to this race of experience. And I want to look at a 3-point platform, specifically safe schools, strong academics, and accountable leadership. When I say safe schools, most people think, oh, the hard stuff, things that we generally take care of law enforcement. But those are not the things I'm talking about. I'm talking about the day-to-day things that our educators experience, that our staff experience, that don't make them feel the safest and discipline especially. So improving academics and accountable leadership on my part, and at the end of the day, I am accountable to you. And that will be my pledge to you, that you have an accessible and accountable leader going forward. Thank you for your time, and thankfully, when I roll this on PTA for us to go. Look forward to it.
Ms. Garrett.
My name is Autumn Herrick, and it is my honor to serve as your Seminole County School Board Vice Chair. I am running because I believe in the power of public education. It changed my life, it shaped my children's lives, and it continues to be the biggest opportunity engine that we have for our children and our future. 25 years ago, my husband Bob and I moved to Seminole County because of the strength of our schools. They went to Lawton Elementary, Jackson Heights Middle, and Oviedo High School. I'm proud to say they all graduated college and have master's degrees and 0 debt because of the strength of our public schools, the foundation that they had here. When my kids were in school, I got busy. I teamed up with an English language arts teacher, and we co-founded an educational story theater company called Tales to Tell. And for 20 years, we traveled to schools and to libraries, getting kids on their feet, exciting them about language, literacy, and learning. As a school board member, I've championed these efforts. I've grown our volunteer reading acceleration program from just 18 schools to now 30 of our 37 schools. I was happy to champion with the Student Success Express Fund. But the thing that is most important to me is that I have built genuine relationships in the classrooms and the communities. It's an honor to be a bridge between our families, stakeholders, and the district. I'm in your schools, I'm in your neighborhoods, and I'm always just a phone call or a text away. It is an honor to represent Seminole County, and I would be pleased to have 4 more years and serve you well.
Mr. Newsom.
Good evening, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to see you all again. The faces I recognize in this audience. It's certainly good to see you again. A little bit about me. Again, Brian Newsom, my beautiful wife, and 3 little girls are sitting there behind the ladies there. And I have an older daughter who's not here with me, who graduated from Lake Mary High School back in 2015, and there were some challenges there, and I think that things didn't go as well as I had hoped in terms of the services that were offered to her. And so that's probably experience of working with diverse cultures, working on teams to solve challenging problems, are what help qualify me for this role of the school board, working with a team to solve very difficult challenges. I'm a forever student. I have a bachelor's in mathematics, MBA, a master's in divinity, a doctorate in theology, and I'm completing a doctorate, a doctorate in strategic management. I'm running, and it pains me to say this, but I'm running because I believe the current administration, the current board, has lost the trust and the confidence of many of our citizens here in Seminole County. And the only way that is restored is if the composition of this board is changed. And that's the real reason why I'm running. So thank you.
Judge? Candidates, if I can tell you, I'm getting comments from the people watching online, and you all need to speak close enough to the microphone so that they can hear without it being muffled. And I want you all to have a fair shake on that.
Okay, thank you.
You can lean in. Okay. This is a two-part question, so 2 minutes to respond. It was an article just last month in the Senate that Orange, Osceola, Seminole, and Lake County school districts project to lose a combined 5,500 students this coming school year.
He needs to hold it
Adding to
closer.
budget woes and state funding is by pupil. And the state, through the Florida Education Finance Program, is already reducing funding here for our public schools, which will result in a net loss of $6.2 million. Knowing all of this, how do you believe we can be more competitive in teacher compensation? And knowing all of this, tell us what programs you would be willing to cut and why those over others. Mr. Pizza, you go first.
So let's first say, the teachers are the lifeline of the schools. I firmly believe that the teachers should be the last on the chopping block, not the first, unlike the current board. The second thing I want to talk about is what we can do to compete with the voucher program. The voucher program, hate to burst anyone's bubble here tonight, it's not going anywhere. So the board really needs to stop complaining about it, and we need to start doing stuff about it. That starts by competing with the voucher program. I recommend that we start teaming up with local businesses and offer exclusive SCPS internships. Because more students than ever do not want to go to college. They want to go into the career fields. And offering them life experience in the career they want to go in is more beneficial than any class they can take. Second thing we want to do is keep the best teachers we have. How in the same year do we say to a teacher, you're the best, you are the teacher of the year, and then at the same time, do not renew their contract and fire them? That is not right. That was an awful decision, and I hope to revert that decision once I'm on this board. And the third thing we want to look at is welcoming parents back to the discussion table. It means moving the workshops that happen noon during a weekday when parents, teachers, and students cannot attend to an evening time where they can attend. So we can have every single person part of this community at the table discussing issues, not just the board making decisions. That's what we're going to do, if I am elected.
The second part of the question was, what programs are you willing to cut and why those over others? The programs must be kind of balanced budget.
I'm not going to make a decision on what programs we're going to cut because it would be foolish of me to look at it from an outside perspective. I propose we go through the budget and do an autopsy. I have budget items right here, actually. Very big things, such as pupil personal services, $23 million. 9% of the budget is purchase services. What is purchase services? Nobody knows. We need to get this fixed. We need to do an autopsy of the budget so we know actually what's in the budget and eliminate that waste. And teachers are not waste.
Okay, Mr. Mills.
Thank you. Students should never see our budget concerns or our problems in our classrooms, and I will be dedicated that no student can even tell that we're having budget concerns in our classrooms. With the voucher program and us losing some enrollment and funds in our schools, I think we finally need to start marketing ourselves. We have 52 incredible career technical and magnet programs in our schools. We need to market those programs to our community. A lot of families who are using the voucher money were never attending Seminole County Public Schools. We need to market to every single family, every single walk of life. We have programs that are unique to the nation at some of our schools. For example, Seminole High School has a whole suite health academy, an IB program, an airplane on their campus for students to learn aeronautical engineering and have a pipeline to the Sanford Airport. That needs to be a commercial in itself. So we need to do a better job of marketing the great programs that we have, because we're finally competing with some other great institutions within Central Florida, and I will always say it's a parent's right to choose whatever's best for their child. As your school board member, I am biased, and I think Seminole County is the best choice for your child, but within that choice, we have so many choices, and we need to market those. For the programs that I would recommend cutting, I'm not there yet. I need to be on the board to make that decision, but again, I will say it will never be student-facing, and it will never be safety and security for our students.
Mr. Miller.
I'll start with the second half, and yeah, I wouldn't suggest a program that I would say I would cut right now. I would rather sit down with our finance team, with the rest of the leadership team, and figure out if that's something, is that better? I don't want to scare anybody, because that makes these things around. So the public team would really good look at that first. I think making that decision is something you do carefully. And also, I would say the last thing that we hit, I would have to agree, would be teachers. We're not going to cut classroom instruction. That's the very last thing. We hold off on that. We absolutely am. I've seen the decline in enrollment, and there are a lot of factors that are there, and the voucher program is one of them. And we have to compete. At the end of the day, we cannot shy away from it. It's not going anywhere, so we have to compete with it. We have to be aggressive about going after our families. Our families are our customers. We're a business. We have to treat them like our customers. They're not guaranteed to us. We have to go out and market ourselves, and talk to them, and sell to them. Why Seminole County Public Schools is your best option. This is your best option. Nothing in this county can compete with us. We offer every single thing that you need, and we're going to take care of it. Your most valuable asset is your child. You can trust them to us, and we're going to take the best care of it. We're going to receive the best service from us. You're going to receive the best leadership in every single school, in every single community. It's not going to be different because you live in one part of Seminole versus the other. So if we dedicate to that, we change our mentality towards that, and make sure that we treat our citizens, our customers, our constituency as such. We are going to take care of it. This is the best place for you and your child. I promise you that every single day. That's the commitment you'll get from me.
Ms. Garrett.
So to maintain academic excellence despite funding challenges, that's a heavy lift. As state funding becomes more unpredictable, we must always prioritize classroom instruction, early literacy, career pathways, and student support services, while finding efficiencies outside the classroom to preserve Seminole County's tradition of excellence. One way that we did this during this past season was to do a deep dive into all of our contracts to make sure that they were still being used effectively and efficiently, and when we could, we were able to consolidate. We also now have, for several of our smaller elementary schools, we have one bookkeeper for three schools, and we're trying it out this year. We're hoping it'll work. We also need to listen to the community. As my colleague said down the line, we do have 52 robust career and technical education programs, but we have to be willing to see the evolving workforce where changes need to be made, and sometimes when programs need to be sunset. That happened when the city of Altamont came to us several years ago, and they said, we have a need for wastewater workers. We need certified workers, and so we got several students through the program, and they said, you know what? Our slate is full. We looked at our cities, we looked at our county, and there wasn't a local need for those students. So we sunset the program. And I think when we're looking at programs to cut, we need to listen to our families, we need to listen to our communities, and we need to continue making opportunities for each and every student.
This is personal for me. My mother was a teacher for 40 plus years. She recently passed. But I lived the life of an educator through my mother for the many years I lived in our home. So it's very personal for me. So when it comes to conflict I would also pledge to look at how to reduce the administrative burden that they're facing, because right now our teachers are overwhelmed. And that's one of the issues that are driving them driving them out of the system. What programs do I set? I would start with the management layer. That's where I would look. 1 minute right now. I'll start with the management layer, and I would also, when I ask the questions around, has that been looked at really closely? I don't get clear answers. So to me, that's a big missing. The judge was right. The school lost 5,000 students in the last 5 years, and they're losing 2,000 students per year for the next 3 years. That is a problem. And I say, 30 seconds, that is, I tell you that's related to the people. Students are leaving because they're not satisfied. Their needs are not being met. Something's wrong, and that's nothing to be proud of. We have to change that, and we have to change it quickly, and that's why I'm asking you on this board.
Ms. Krause.
Thank you. Just to refresh the question, you're asking about the reduced funding, more competitive teacher pay, and what programs we have, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, well, school districts are not in the habit of the marketing business, but that's where we find ourselves. We are a choice district, as my other friends have said. We have 52 career technical programs. It is our mission that when your student graduates, they have a pathway forward, whether that is employment directly into the workforce with some of the certifications that they've earned, whether it's enrollment in college or continuing education, even in trade program, or enlistment in the military. We call it the 3 E's. What's your E? Our funding is tied to the number of students that we have. The state gives us their best guess on numbers. However, some of these students were never in our schools that are receiving vouchers. So the money is then taken away from us. Our job will be to attract families back to our schools. We've already started some through our phenomenal communications team. We've had 2 realtor showcases. We invited realtor partners to our high schools to showcase some of the programs that we offer. I've attended Rotary meetings to talk about all of the good things happening in our district. We established the state of our schools so that our community partners and other elected officials understand that we are a driving economic factor. We bring businesses and families to the district because of our A-rated schools. We've also had VPK open houses, and we feel like it will, I'm out of time, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think everyone in here, and all of you, agree that all of our kids deserve to have great teachers. And they all deserve to be well paid. That's not reality. The reality is that Florida is either 49 or 50 in average teacher pay, depending on whether you want to include Washington, D.C. We're also at a poll, 41st in per pupil spending, and we are currently, in case you weren't aware of this, dead last in the entire country in K-12 spending per pupil as a percentage of taxes collected. Dead last. That's not going to change no matter what you all would like to. And so, my question to you is, would you be in favor of raising taxes to appropriately fund our public education system? And if so, which taxes would you advocate to increase? Mr. Mills.
Thank you. I think that before we can have the conversation about raising our local taxes, we have to be transparent with our taxpayer money that we're already spending, and hear from our community if that is something that we want. I personally advocate for that. I'm up here because of the amazing educators that I had growing up in Seminole County Public Schools, and I'm running to fight for them and the next generation as well. So I personally will support that, but we need to be good stewards of our taxpayers' money currently and be transparent about the spending now.
Oh,
It's okay.
oh, thank you.
If it doesn't stay, just lay it down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can lay it down. Thank you for that, though.
And just to clarify, this is a 1-minute question. Mr. Manager?
I would definitely start with zero-based amendments, look at our budget first. Make sure we're being good stewards first. If we're being good stewards of the money we're already given, when we come to the public and put it before the voters and say, do we want to raise taxes? That would be my first approach, is to say, hey, we're good stewards. We're transparent, here's our budget, here's what we're doing with it, and we can leave it in your hands if you choose to approve it. That would be my personal approach for that.
Ms. Garrett?
As a school board member, I know that every dollar matters because every budget decision affects students, teachers, and classrooms. And before I would ask taxpayers to invest more, we have to have responsibility to be good stewards and to show that we're good stewards. I think that in these times, we cannot rule anything out. I did want to share, there's only one way that school districts can levy taxes. There's only one tax, which is the property assessment, and that would be that would be a referendum that the board could approve, and then it would need to be approved by the voters. But there's many layers to our funding, and unfortunately, we can't levy assessments like some of our cities and counties do. So again, first we have to show a real need, and we have to be transparent with our current budget.
I'll give you some time back. Absolutely not. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. I believe probably everyone at these tables believes our teachers deserve a higher salary, without question. They don't just work 8:30 to 3:30. They are working over the summer's lesson planning. I spoke to my brother-in-law today, who has spent the past 2 weeks developing lesson plans for his new class next year. As a member, Vice Chair Garrett said, teacher salaries depend heavily on the legislature, which the school board does not control. What can we do tomorrow to improve retaining our teachers without waiting for Tallahassee? And I believe that a part of that is competitive salaries. Teachers stay where they feel respected and supported. The school board can continue working on meaningful professional development, mentoring and supporting new teachers. That was more than a minute. I'll let her ideas too.
You have my 50
It's
seconds.
okay. Thank you.
I didn't know what was happening there.
That's okay. Mr.
Yeah, so one thing I want to make clear, I want to make a promise to every voter. I will not raise your property taxes. We do not want to raise property taxes. That will not happen if I am on this board. We will not raise property taxes, but instead find other ways to fund our schools. Whether that's increasing advertising with the schools. One idea I have is that we have a fleet of 21 school buses, over 21 school buses. Those are moving billboards, as I like to call it. We can have local businesses sponsor that. And I would also like to argue, Judge, I think we can get more money. I think we can. I don't know how we can do it. We can do that by competing with voucher school programs. And you want to talk about education, more students are leaving SCPS right now. And one of the reasons, and I talk to students about it, is because they feel like they're being pushed through the system. High graduation rate does not mean high education. Right now we have a virtual school. Has a 100% graduation rate. We learned in COVID that virtual learning is not the best. We need to fix it, and we will.
All right. Book removal has been a hot topic in education now for several years. Although we have the lowest per pupil spending as a percentage of taxes collected in America, we are the king of book bans. In fact, Florida has banned more books in its schools than 47 other states combined. So, do you support the current book review process that the county has in place? And do you commit to reviewing and even re-reviewing the objected to books in a timely manner based on the state's settlement this year over the Parental Rights Education Act? Mr. Member.
The current process, I think it's what we all want to focus on, is not take that burden off the teachers, all the educators, and let's just make sure we are clear and transparent. Follow the law as it's currently written. We can advocate for change. If we want to see a change, we can do that. As it's currently written, let's follow the guidelines and make sure we're transparent about it. And honestly, for me, I would hope that we can find a way at some point to start to work together towards taking this license off of everyone. It's burdening students, it's burdening parents, it's burdening teachers. So I'm hoping to move forward on at some point getting this out of our area. We're hoping. So if we can have them say no for change, I'm here for it. Run the process locally, we'll follow the law as it's written, and do our best to give our kids the best education we can and all the materials that we give them.
Ms. Garrett.
I was recognized with a state ambassador storytelling award for my decades of commitment to language literacy and learning. Our students need more books, not fewer books. A few years ago, when I first started on the board, there was much controversy, and so our board created a new policy, which is working well. People who are not parents in our district can object to a book once a month, and it goes to a fair review. I think that that's fair and shows that we're accountable to all constituents, but it also means that our parents, who are the biggest influence in the child's life and should have the biggest say in the child's education, have the most influence. I support a consistent, transparent review process that follows the law, respects parents, values educators. We have certified media specialists who understand the value of materials and for whom it is most appropriate. I want to listen to parent concerns and encourage open communication.
Mr. Newsom.
Sir, so, yes, we're looking at book banning. Well, I probably agree with that approach. As an ordained minister, I send my children to school to learn mathematics, to learn to read, science, and things of that nature. But there are certain texts and books that I believe society is trying to impose on our children that are not age appropriate, whether it's sodomy textbooks and other things that just are not appropriate for children. So do I support banning those books? Yes, I do, and I don't apologize for that. Am I open to reviewing the current process? Yes, I'm certainly open to it, but I would probably tend to agree that banning the books that are inappropriate for school-age children, and quite frankly, some of these for older students, not just for my young little girls, but even for older students. I don't know why anyone would want to impose those texts on the child. Sorry for that. I would take back some of my time.
Yeah.
Ms. Press.
Thank you. We have had a long-standing policy and process for receiving all books that come in to our schools. I remember my oldest son, 5th grader, reading Talk About Everlasting, and it gave me a chance to reread it and engage along with him. We had many great conversations. School libraries should encourage curiosity, support classroom learning, and help students develop a lifelong appreciation for reading. Questions about library materials deserve a fair and consistent review process, which we have. We follow the Florida law and district policy. Parents deserve transparency throughout that process, and we have certified media specialists that bring valuable professional expertise when evaluating our materials. These decisions should be thoughtful, respectful, and focused on educational quality. Thank you.
Yeah. So just seem to me agree on something that we need more transparency in the schools. Currently, we looked at something, me and my team, high school and middle school reading scores have been dropping, but it's been leveling out in elementary, but we need to fix that in high school and middle school. And one thing that I propose is that we have reading competitions across. I think also at an elementary school, we team up with the local library and we have a field trip go over there. So every single student goes home with a library card, encouraging them to read. Talking about transparency, I think a syllabus should go home to every single parent required to be signed that goes over the curriculum and the books they will read. What biggest concern that we're getting with teachers and parents is that these are coming up mid-year. That's not shouldn't be happening. It should be addressed at the beginning of the year. So it should be required that a parent signs the syllabus that covers everything they're going to be teaching. And then for the books, I believe the books should be fit into categories similar to movies. We do not want a TVMA movie played in the school. We do not want a TVMA book read in the schools. Thank you.
Mr. Bill.
Thank you. In support of following state law and a transparent review process, always it's a parent's right to choose what's the most appropriate for their child. But as your school board member, I want age-appropriate information given to our students, nothing more than that. As an avid reader, I see books as either windows to see other people's lives or mirrors to see myself, and I think it's important for students to read about all cultures and diversity, but at an age-appropriate level, always.
Thank you.
All right. Raise your hand if you've read the school board members' Bill of Rights. Only two of you. Oh, I'm just going to ask the two of these questions. Just so you all know, a school board members' Bill of Rights was initiated this year by our legislature and signed into law by Governor DeSantis. So I was going to ask about the rights of the bill, but I'll skip that. Ms. Garrett, what does an inclusive school look like to you, and how should Seminole County support students with disabilities in the general education setting?
This is one of the areas that I'm most excited about. This has been truly transformational in the past 5 to 10 years. Inclusive education means allowing each child to be in the least restricted environment, have the most opportunities, both academically, socially, and therapeutically. I have heard personal stories from people that were afraid to come to Florida for their children's education. They were transferred. 30 seconds. All right, well, let me just share for the first time ever, Endeavor, which is our school for our most profoundly challenged students, the most medically fragile and students who are also behaviorally challenged. For the first time, we have received a commendable recommendation, which is the highest score that you can achieve. Those are 50 students being served by 40 direct service personnel. Not only are these students thriving therapeutically, but academically, they are knocking it out of the park.
Thank you. I am certainly supportive of inclusivity within the school system, and your question with this second part around the disabled community suggests that you're asking, are you supportive of the disabled individuals with disabilities in our school system? I certainly am. Again, it's personal for me because my daughter, Mindy, who graduated in 2015, she had a severe case of cerebral palsy, and she sat in a classroom with in front of a TV almost the entire time. And I know there were resources available to her, but they never got to her. So I'm certainly supportive of that. I'm also familiar with the whole David White, Hayden White scenario where the school is challenging suing the student because he needs a personal nurse. I don't know the details about it. I know it can't be talked about, but I'm for finding ways to help the disabled community function adequately within the school system so that they can get the proper education that they deserve. Thank you.
Ms. Krause.
Judge, could you repeat the question? I sort of lost track on reasons.
What does an inclusive school look like to you, and how should Seminole County support students with disabilities in the general education
every student every day. We do promote the least restrictive environment in our classrooms, and I believe, based on the students' ability, like there might be a little chaos in second grade that might overstimulate them. So based on the student's ability to deal with everyone who's sensitive to that as well, the whole student, but it is something that we practice, and I'd like to see more students in our gen ed classrooms learning with their peers.
Mr. Pizza.
Yeah, so as an IEP student in Seminole County Schools, this really means a lot to me. I know that my IEP was followed, but I hear reports from parents who left our school system because it wasn't followed. Brian mentioned it. The school board suing a family because the IEP was not mentioned. They said that they can't talk about it, but I can talk about it. They're suing them. They first sued them, and then they're suing them in federal court now. Because you want to talk about, oh, there's too much money in the budget, it's lawsuits. That's where we can cut things in the budget. That's what we are going to cut in the budgets. But I am tired of the school board mistreating people with special needs and disabilities, and it's something that will end once we are on the board. Thank you.
You know, I need to follow up with you. Because you've posted, and I didn't want to get into this, but you're bringing it up. You want to make lawsuits an issue tonight. And you posted it. I welcome anybody here to open their phone and go to Facebook and look at what's being posted. So you posted pages of the school board being sued.
Yes.
Did you bother to look at any of those cases?
I looked at some of them.
Okay.
I know but one that I talked personally with was David Reitman.
Okay.
Have you looked at that case? The thousands of dollars the school board's wasting going after a family? Who the school board forced to leave the county? Have you looked at that?
I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to educate you. There are 32 cases listed on Mr. Pizza's Facebook page.
That's on the site.
32.
Hold on.
Maybe 33. Now, there's a thing called garnishment in Florida. Raise your hand if you know what that means. A bunch of you know what that means. If you have a credit card and you don't pay it, then the credit card company has the right to sue you. And once they get a judgment, they have the right to try and collect their wages from your wages. Okay? They go to court. And then the case gets styled Capital One versus John Smith and Seminole County School Board. That is not a case that Seminole County School Board brought or didn't bring. It has nothing to do with it.
What about the case of David Son?
Hold on. That was a third of the cases that were listed there. Another third were auto accidents. Now, if you add up all of the miles that our school bus drivers drive in a year, I'm here to tell you, 3 accident cases a year for all of our school bus drivers. So that leaves 10 cases where the Seminole County School Board has actually been sued in the last 3 years. And I have no idea if that's more than it was 10 years ago or less than it was 10 years ago, but it was not 32 cases that are listed on a website or on a Facebook page. And so I'm hoping that this can be fleshed out in future real-life lawsuits involving the school board and what it costs them. I have no clue. Maybe Ms. Garrett, maybe Ms. Krause can answer that, but it's not 33 cases that are listed on a Facebook page.
Okay.
So, we're going to keep going. Mr. Mills.
Do you mind repeating the question?
What does an inclusive school look like to you, and how should Seminole County support students with disabilities in the general education setting?
Absolutely. Every student deserves an opportunity to succeed, and it's our promise to students and families that they have the opportunity and the services that are equal across the board. I'd like to highlight one program quickly that I've supported with the school district. It's our Project Search. It's an internship opportunity for students with special abilities.
and they can turn an app and help, and most get hired after. When I was at Bishop Financial, I did financial educations for the group. It was the best group of individuals. They're all 21 and up. They graduated our public schools, and it's just building equal opportunity for all students, no matter their situations. Thank you.
Mr. Lemon.
When I hear inclusive schools, I think schools where students feel loved, where they feel cared for, where they're seen, where they're valued, where the people around them are truly supported. That is what each and every one of us want as parents, as teachers, as support staff, community stakeholders. That is what an inclusive school looks like. That is our goal each and every day. Every single day that I step on campus, aside from my actual job, which is to make sure that guy doesn't hurt you. I don't know what I can explain to first graders. But really, to take care of you. I'm entrusted with your safety. That means something to me. And I take that seriously. So that's the attitude and mentality that I want to bring to leadership, to push downward to each and every person inside of my own schools. And for our students with special needs, we absolutely can do the most that we can do for them in a JAD setting and make sure that they feel the same way that every other student does. I don't even say this.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to answer this question. This involves a complex range of issues. AI is projected to wreak havoc on the labor market and undoubtedly eliminate the need entirely for a myriad of professions. What would you add to or change in Seminole County's 2026 through 2031 strategic plan to address this issue and prepare our students for the shifts in the labor market during the next 5 years in light of AI? Ms. Clemens.
You know, my take on AI is that it's here to stay, and it should be embraced. I know about the projections that others are making about the end result of AI and the various layoffs that will happen. I just don't. I'm of the mindset that AI is a net positive, and not. I don't view it from a negative perspective. So I think, and obviously, Seminole County school system has embraced AI in a significant way. So I'm with the Seminole County school system. I think AI is a net benefit, and I encourage more investment in it. And I'm hoping that the projections don't come true that you had talked about it. But if we see that they do, then we need to adjust and rethink it. But AI is a net positive, and I'm supportive of it.
Ms. Krause.
Thank you. We proudly profess that we too have embraced AI. We were the first district in the state to draft policy. We've since had to revise that policy, but the intent is that we embrace it safely for our students. AI is changing education, and we need to be prepared for all possible outcomes. One thing that I learned, I'm not a tech person. I know how to turn on my computer and turn it off and update it. Apparently it updates during meetings. But the point is, we need to be able to support our teachers. We have required training, 3 3-hour days for teachers onboarding this summer that they embrace AI. We are using platforms that are housed within our district so that other people can't enter data into our platform. So it is a protected format. Our teachers need to be supported when they use it. That needs to be the first step. And then safely have it be introduced to our students. I also believe our teachers will eventually love it because hopefully it will save them some administrative time with, reporting and lesson planning and sharing good ideas amongst their peers. So, yes, I am in support of it. One more thing, if I still have another few seconds.
You have a whole minute.
Okay. I don't need it. I have learned, and Mr. Pizza, probably you're a freshman, right, in college, that there's now a requirement that you take AI courses in your first year of college. So, thank you.
Mr. Pizza?
Yeah, so AI learning is something that's interesting. I don't know if the board knew about this, but at Hagerty High School, I was in charge of the live stream team. This past year, the school signed a non-competition contract with, I think, an AI company, installed AI cameras outside, and signed a non-competition clause and shut down every single live stream team in Seminole County for the high schools that wanted to live stream sporting events. And then this AI live stream company put a paywall to the parents. So now they have to pay to watch their kid throw a touchdown. We did it for free, and we gave our students experience in the live stream program. I don't know if the school board knew about it. Maybe the schools did it on their own. But this is something that happened, and I had to live through it, and my friends had to live through it. That program gave essential experience to anyone who wanted to go into TV production as a career, and the school took it away. What I believe AI can be beneficial to students when it comes to if they get stuck on a math problem at home. Don't look it up. Have it scan it and have it walk through the steps with you. That's where I see AI learning. I do not think AI learning for a student belongs in the classroom. That's why I want to make sure that every phone goes in a phone chart and attendance is taken from the phone chart. Because if you're on your phone in class, you are not mentally in class. On top of that, we believe that we should have these students learning in an environment that is distraction-free. More students come to me than ever and say, I really like working on paper. But the teacher says, no, I can't print out paper because we have a limit on the amount of papers we can print out. If a student says he learns better on a piece of paper, then give that child a piece of paper. But that is not what's happening in our school system currently, and we can fix it together. Thank you.
Mr. Mills?
Thank you. Being in the workforce currently, I have learned AI fast and furiously. I think it's here to stay, and if we're building our future workforce, we can't shy away from keeping this out of our schools. I think it should complement education, but should not take it away, and I'm all for any opportunities to relieve our teachers and staff of any admin duties from that. But we also need to be transparent with our community and parents of what systems their students are using and available for parents to see what is going on with AI in our schools as well.
Mr. Manager?
Well, AI is uncharted territory. We're learning a lot about it. It's brand new. It's certainly getting into each and every one of our lives, whether we want it to or not. You can't almost get away from it. They put it in your phone without your permission, so so what we can do is, one, be cautious and be careful. Be measured about how we implement it into our systems. The law is notorious for being behind the times, so in my profession as well, AI is creeping its way in, and we're having to try to measure against how much is too much, how much is too little. Should we allow it to do this? Should we allow it to help with this? We're all facing the same challenges. So as a district, we are going to have the same challenges going forward, making sure that we are in lockstep with our community, with our parents about how much AI we want in schools and a system of learning. It should help students. It shouldn't use it as a crutch necessarily for our educators. It can help relieve a lot of tasks, help them speed up, be more efficient, get more time back, which I believe every single educator would want, is some more time back, because Lord knows planning takes up a lot of time. So building lesson plans, building rubrics, if AI can help you, or I can imagine that's going to be a good thing. So we just have to be cautious about how we go about it and just be measured. And I think as a district, we'll chart the right course with the right leadership. Thank you.
Ms. Garrett?
Well, as Walt Whitman said, be curious, not judgmental. So along those lines, I would like to clarify some misinformation that we heard surrounding this question. I had heard the claims that the district had removed live stream opportunities for students. That is not the case, and I'm happy to share the email that I received. That is still.
I went to Hagerty High School's live stream team that no longer exists.
Oh, no. Don't do
Ms.
that.
Garrett, you may respond to that.
to send you the email.
Go ahead.
All right, moving forward. Great tools require patience, and they require learning. Nothing will replace a teacher. And I think that it's important that we allow students to explore, solve problems, and prepare for the future while continuing to build critical thinking, communication, and creativity they'll need throughout life. I thought that this might be a question, so I reached out to our Director of Teaching and Learning, Mike Alba, because early on, as Member Krause had earlier said, we were an early adopter and created a policy, but based on state legislation, we had to make adjustments. And so I'll give you a few details. I don't think Ms. Krause, hopefully I won't duplicate Ms. Krause's answer, but this summer, the new AI task force met twice, so that was information services. They met with our teachers. The team was teachers, students, IS, instructional leaders, and the action plan will be reviewed by the assistant superintendents, and then it will go to the superintendent, and then the board will have a chance to delve into where we want to, how we want to adjust our policy. There were 3 half-day training sessions for at least one teacher from each school. And as Ms. Krause said, we currently have closed systems. So the systems that we are operating in Seminole County for teachers align directly with our frameworks and are developed by our professional educators and administrators. And all staff will be required to complete an AI literacy course this school year, because we can't expect teachers to jump on board without proper support and training. We want to make sure that they are competent in these new tools.
It's a good thing I'm a judge and not a teacher, because none of you would have gotten an A. They were good responses. But part of the question was, and maybe I missed this, audience can enlighten me. What would you add to or change in Seminole County's 2026 through 2031 strategic plan? Did anybody hear that mention anything about the plan? So let me just ask, how many of you have read the 2026 through 2031 strategic plan that Seminole County adopted?
I have it if anyone wants to read it.
I read it while she was holding it.
All right, so a couple of you have read it. All right, we'll move on. As was mentioned earlier, even though we are one of the top 2 or 3 school systems in the entire state, we are still bleeding students because of vouchers. What is the number one thing you think we should do to market our schools to parents? And if a parent was moving into Seminole County, what 3 things would you tell them to try to convince them to put their child in our public school system? Ms. Krause.
1 minute, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We touched on this a little bit with the previous question. Obviously, we need to increase our marketing. We have, our communications team has been phenomenal in thinking outside the box. We've reached out to local realtors to have a showcase, invite them into our schools and show them the phenomenal programs. I started on the VPK programs and I talked too long. We have had open houses for our VPK programs because we really want students get here as 4 and early 5-year-olds. Maybe they'll stick around because it feels like home. Our district is a choice district. I spent almost a full day with an assistant principal and a family that was very skeptical coming from Christian up to 8th grade, and toured them through 3 different high schools. And we showed them the programs that they were interested in. The AP was very generous for her time. And so I think we need to do that. We've just got to reach out and share the good things that we are doing in the district. We also have community ambassador program, and I encourage all of you to research that. It starts in the fall, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at how our district is run. It's a phenomenal program. Thank you.
minutes. So we need to compete with the voucher program. So like I said, that's SCPS, exclusive internships. But it's also building trust with the community. To go back to the AI thing, I think the community is tired of the gaslighting this school board has done. Whether it's saying that we didn't ban field trips, even though an email went out saying you banned field trips. Or it is this thing about, no, we didn't shut down the live stream programs when I had students call me up saying, you shut down the live stream programs. But it's building trust with the community. It's inviting all of them to sit at the table and talk to them. It's moving workshops to the evening where they can attend. It's sending the agenda minutes and the recording of the meetings to every single parent, teacher, and student before the meeting and after the meeting so they know what's going on in the schools and it's not a surprise. People are leaving this school district in record levels because they don't have trust in the board. It's going to happen. We need to get on this board and we're going to fix it. Thank you.
Mr. Mills.
Thank you. I think, I said this earlier with our career technical education, we have programs in our school district that are just unmatched throughout the state and the nation. And our biggest marketing tool is walking among us. We have alumni of these programs that went straight into the workforce and can testify that they have those jobs because of the classes and the teachers that they had in Seminole County Public Schools. I'm a marketing professional, so I'm really looking forward to doing a deeper dive and supporting our districts on using the marketing dollars that we have to support this initiative. We have Grooms Academy, where almost half of the students graduate with their high school diploma and their associate's degree. That's a billboard right there for Seminole County Public Schools. We have so much good happening in our district that we just need to promote and get the good news out to our families.
Mr. Manager.
I give you three things real quick. We have some of the safest schools. We have the best school safety division, probably in the nation, and I'll start there because I've been a part of it. I can say that from the inside. It's actually innovative, and we lead the country in our methods and our techniques to make sure our schools are safe. So if I can start with, what am I going to tell a parent? We have some of the safest schools. We have some of the best school resource officers and some of the best school resource deputies in this county, and in this state, and in this nation. Secondly, we actually have award-winning arts programs, dance programs, theater programs. At each of our schools, you have the opportunity to participate in any and everything that you want to get into. And last but not least, athletics. We have state championship athletics right here in Seminole County. And a lot of times we don't talk about it enough, but I do football. So I'm going to go and shout out football team now. Good job, baby. I have to. Even though I'm a no, I will give them props. Lastly, the biggest thing that we can do to have folks start to fall in love with us again is take care of the people inside the organization. They go out each and every day to their families and to their communities. And if they're not happy ambassadors, I can tell you that's a lot of people going out in their communities saying, we're not that happy. We're not doing that well. So not to be a Debbie Downer, but hey, we take care of the folks inside, those are your ambassadors. They're going to go out and tell folks, this is the best district in the world. If I encounter an employee, they should tell me this is the absolute best place to put your child, the best place to work. You are going to love it here. These are your ambassadors. These are the folks that will do that for you. That's something I faced in my own career when we talk about recruiting and retention. I tell them all the time, and I'll say it now. The best recruiters are the people working for you. They will go out and they will do the job for you. They will preach for you. They will be your ambassadors. Take care of them, they'll take care of you.
Ms. Garrett.
I'm a firm believer that personal stories connect us. So I'm going to share a very short one with you. Last few weeks, months, I've been knocking on doors, talking to voters, asking them questions and concerns that they have about our schools. And a couple of weeks ago, there was a husband and wife doing their yard work, and I said, hey, I'm on Garrett, I'm on the school board, I'm one of your elected school board members. He said, I know you. I said, oh, how do you know me? And he said, I teach at Hagerty High School, and it is the best job in the entire world.
Aw.
He shared he is creating pathways for student success each and every day. His wife was in the yard. I thanked her. I assumed that she wasn't in education because they had a lovely home and somebody had to pay the mortgage and make sure that they had car payments and all those good things. And she assured me that she was not, but I appreciated her supporting his public education habit. That being said, we need to share our stories. We need to market them, and we need to make sure that we use ambassadors, not just adult ambassadors, our student ambassadors. When we have our magnet nights and we have the students there talking about their passion, their purpose, and their pathway to a lifelong dream of theirs made possible through our schools, that is life-changing. We need to make sure that we offer concierge service. We need to make sure that we make connections. When someone steps into our schools, they need to feel, as we heard earlier, they need to feel like they belong. They need to feel welcome, they need to feel loved, and they need to feel special, because each and every child has something, has a gift. Regardless of their abilities, their zip code, each child is special, and I'm very excited to be on this path with Seminole County Public Schools.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, sure. So you know, what three things does the school system do well? You know, you hear about the A rating for the last 20 or 21 years, which is obviously a positive development. So that's certainly one thing I would share. And when you look at the reading and math scores being roughly about 60% of our students are reading at their level, as well as our math level. So those are things connected with the A rating that I would certainly share with the parent. Josh talked about the diversity of programs, and I've learned more about the programs here at the Seminole school system just by asking questions around why are students leaving and then coming back. Because they come back because they go to these other schools, charter schools, or what have you, and they find that these other schools, smaller schools with less resources, don't have all the benefits and programs that Seminole does. So that's definitely a plus for the system. And then, you know, being a math guy, math science guy, your STEM program being #1 in the state, I believe. Yeah, the STEM program. That's impressive. And science and math and technology and engineering, you know, that's our future. So that to me, that's a major attraction for this system. Now, does that mean there are things that this is a perfect system? No, there are things that need to be improved, and we've talked about that. And hopefully, you'll have us on the board to help bring some of those things to life. Thank you.
School safety was just mentioned among the answers there, and turning to an issue that every parent wrestles with, school safety. How should we further enhance the safety and well-being of students and staff within our schools, including mental health resources and anti-bullying measures? Mr. Peterson.
School safety is an 100% concern of mine as a recent graduate. In my time at Hagerty High School, we were given a survey every year to fill out, and it asked ourselves, where do we feel the least safe in the schools? And time again, it was bathrooms. But nothing was ever really changed in the bathrooms. Now, I sat down with the sheriff deputy in charge of school safety and said the #1 thing we can do to make the bathrooms feel more safe is installing vape detectors. He said he proposed that to the school board, and the school board said, no, that's too much money. Apparently that's too much money, but other things isn't. Another thing we want to do is send home a student handbook that has every policy and every rule and the consequence for breaking those rules. Right now, it's willy-nilly, oh, this kid wanted his phone, one teacher gives him a detention, another teacher does nothing. Standard rules need to be set that have consequences for students for breaking those rules. And finally, the mental health stuff in the schools right now, from my own experience, is a joke. And it needs to be fixed.
Mr. Mills.
Thank you. Students can't learn if they don't feel safe in their classroom. And I am young enough to understand what students are going through, but old enough to do something about it. I remember walking through the halls in high school and Googling school shooting and seeing which state had a school shooting that day. No student should have that thought in their head, and it's so upsetting that I did at one point too. Seminole County Public Schools has been a model for safety and security on the state and the national level. We were one of the first in the nation to have an SRO or SRD on every school's campus. And I met with the sheriff, and I appreciate his partnership, and I look forward to continuing the great work and and trusting him and the safety and security team to ensure that our students, teachers, and staff have the safest environment to learn and work.
Mr. Manager.
Some of the toughest conversations I had working inside the school as a school resource officer was bullying. It's a really sad thing to see a kid afraid to come to school. The one place they're supposed to be safe. The one place that, hey, this is your second home. You should be able to come here and not worry about anything. And yet, here they are in my office, we're in the hallway, we're on the bus, and they're afraid. And that's something that I took with me. I said, I never want another child to experience that. And we as adults, we earn their trust, we have to do our best to protect our students. And each and every case of bullying has to be taken seriously. And as a person that believes in enforcing the rules, we're going to enforce the rules. If you bully or harm a child in Southern County Public Schools, and it comes before you, in a discipline, we're going to enforce the rule. Every child deserves to feel safe. Every child deserves to have their second home, be truly their second home.
Ms. Eric.
Safety is paramount, as was said earlier. Children can't learn if they don't feel safe. And it includes more than physical safety. As all have said, we have a robust relationship with the sheriff and our model. Sheriff Lima and his integrated program with each of our police departments ensures that there is direct communication, and I'm very appreciative of that. We also need to talk about the different stressors that are impacting our kids now, including mental health. One of our great partners this past year was the Seminole County Council of PTAs. They created a program called STAY, inviting parents to come to learn about mental health challenges, where to find supports, how to recognize when your child might be in crisis. We need to continue to partner with our communities, and particularly with our stakeholders, our parental stakeholders, because again, they have, next to our kids, the biggest space in our schools. Thank you.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, I certainly agree with everyone who has clearly stated that school safety is paramount. And a child thrive in the school system and is concerned about his safety. I met with Chief Francis and we talked about, so I agree with what Autumn and others have said about the sheriff and the great work that they're doing. I firmly believe that they have their hands around the safety concerns at this school. I think there could be some improvement at the policy level, board level, superintendent level in terms of accountability. You know, I hear from teachers, I've heard from teachers that we can't do anything about this child. And I think if you put me on this board and some of the others here, there will be consequences for bad behavior. And so I think accountability is critical to ensure a thriving, productive environment where students want to come to school. So that's how I see people stuff.
Ms. Krause.
Thank you. So we've gone down the line, and I think we all agree we're very lucky to have Sheriff Lima and the professional team of officers in our municipal police departments. That partnership came about long ago. We were one of the first school districts in the nation to have an SRO. But as Vice Chair Garrett said, school safety isn't just the physical safety or having someone with a weapon on campus. It involves a comprehensive plan to include addressing mental health needs. And the way that we do that, until we can afford one mental health support at each school, we build relationships. We task our teachers and staff build a relationship, be open to having a conversation so that you know and understand the struggles your students are dealing with. And I think that's the best way to combat bullying and be accessible for someone to come talk to them when times are hard.
As has been mentioned tonight, we are very fortunate to have A-rated
grade student is filling out their high school schedule and picking out their courses with their parent or guardian, they know that there's real opportunity after that diploma. We're building the workforce in Seminole County and Central Florida. We have 52 amazing career technical education and magnet programs, but we need to build that classroom to career pipeline. That is something that I want to do on day one. I have been in the world of strategic partnerships and community relations, and I look forward to building those so students have real pathway post-graduation if they want to.
Mr. Manager.
One of the first things I would like to see is establishing smaller networks when it comes to talking to our parents and constituents. So town halls with our PTAs, with our schools, with our community, to break the barrier down of communication between the board, between the community, between the administration. Sometimes I run into, while out on the trail, knocking on doors, is people really can talk directly. There's no real direct communication a lot of times, and or meetings go very formal, and they don't feel comfortable public speaking. Not everyone wants to get up here and sit in front of a room full of folks and answer questions. So, it was all of us. But everyone doesn't feel comfortable doing that. You know, some folks don't have the time necessarily, maybe cut out during the day, during business hours. And so people are accommodating and say, you know what, we're going to come to you. I want to come to you. I want to hear from you directly. Here's your opportunity. And if one will say, you will talk to me directly. Nothing in front of you, you have to have any decorum, don't worry about someone telling you you're out of time. No offense to you guys. But we really want to break that down and have the informality to really truly build relationships and get the information we need to improve our district across all levels for each and every community. So that's no longer a barrier for them.
Ms. Garrett.
Can you please repeat the question? I want to make sure that I get all of the details in.
What initiatives will you propose to foster even stronger communication and collaboration between schools, families, and the broader community to improve the reputation of public education and to create a more supportive educational environment?
Well, I believe this is a real area of improvement that we need to focus on, is communication, because we have not only outstanding people, outstanding processes, and outstanding opportunities, but we don't communicate them well. And in the age, or as good as we can. We have a very, very small communications team, and they are working like crazy on a very limited budget. It's not student-facing, so it's very hard to justify giving that department more money. But we've begun taking student stories and having them share them to video, having parents share stories, and I think that's a great first step. I have my cell phone number is everywhere. People text me, people call me, but we need to have more of that. We need to have more accessibility, not just of our top leaders, but in our classrooms. We need to be able to make sure that our transportation line is being picked up, and if there's a delay with the bus and a parent is at that bus stop and they're concerned about their student, we need to make sure that that line is going through and the parents know where the child is at all times and when they will be delivered safely. We've had some hiccups with communicating around safety this year. I have known that our students are safe. Our safety professionals have known. Parents didn't know, and that cannot happen. Parents need to know at all times, especially since we are so interconnected with phones, on our person at all times. We need to make sure that we're having those open lines of communication. So I think continuing to develop those, listening to our stakeholders, and making sure that we're good stewards of the most valuable asset, which is people's children.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, I certainly agree with Bob in terms of the open door policy, being everywhere, being accessible to parents and students if necessary. So that's certainly an approach I would have. I get calls even today, on the board about issues affecting the school system. So anything I can do to communicate to the parents and have a relationship with the parents and let them know also town halls, I agree with Hulk, I think he mentioned town halls, or Josh. I certainly support that. I think bringing the parents in and letting them know the things we're doing and hearing their concerns, I think is critical. And then the whole Sable Point incident that Autumn was referring to, yes, those are things that cannot happen again. So we need to have a close relationship with our parents. We need to communicate with them on a regular basis. And I'm all for it and supportive of it. That's key to me, transparency. So thank you.
Ms. Krause.
Well, I understood that question differently. What initiative would we bring to promote our school? And there's a project in the works that I have to talk about. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our community for supporting the renewal of the penny sales tax. With those funds, we were able to pay off debt early. We maintained our AA rating, which allows us, obviously better standing to our stakeholders and in the community. In addition to that, a long-standing project that I wanted for our students, Lake Powell High School auditorium was set to be demolished over 7 years ago. When you're doing a project in Seminole County, you have to have the money in hand to start the project. There wasn't enough money because when we first costed it, probably 11 years ago, it was $14 million. It's now a $40 million project.
Wow.
So thank you all for supporting the renewal of the penny sales tax. That has allowed us to build this brand new state-of-the-art auditorium that will host the Cyber Academy upstairs and will draw students from across the state to compete in cybersecurity tournaments. And it'll have its own network so that we don't crash our own. That would be terrible. Again, I'm not a tech person, but we are so excited about this project. It is boots on the ground, and it should be open next spring. And I'd be happy to tour you all through the building.
Mr. Pizza.
Yeah, so I think what really matters is the stronger communication within our networks. It's stronger communication to the teachers. To speak on personal stories, I've gone off the house, and the teacher came out and told me that I'm afraid of the school board. The school board, they said the words, that they will fire anyone that is not on the same page. They're afraid of anyone who goes against them, and they have been known to fire them. Now that's her words, but teachers are afraid in our school system, and we need to stand up for them more. I think going back to the mental health videos, teacher puts on a 40-minute video on 2X, skips over the discussion questions. You know why they do that? Because they're not trained mental health counselors. We need to team up with a nonprofit to get mental health counselors inside the classroom to lead these discussions. Because when that teacher puts on that 40-minute video on 2X, all the kids go on that phone. And sadly, this has led, in my opinion, to 2 students at Haggerty, I think it's Haggerty, that took their own life this past year. We need to get mental health as a top priority in our schools again and get this handled before more students lose their life. Because it's outrageous that this is happening. And also means keeping the best teachers of the year. We fired the teacher of the year out of school. How in the same year do we tell a teacher that they are the best out of the best and then fire them? It doesn't make sense. We need more transparency. The school board said that they banned field trips, and they said that they didn't. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. They're words that are just gaslighting the public over and over again, and it needs to stop. And that means new leadership in office. It means leadership that will support students, leadership that will support parents, and leadership that will support teachers. And we can do that now by voting pizza. Thank you.
I researched every statistic that I used this evening. I did not research this. This came from Autumn's numbers. So I don't know if this is accurate. Let me ask the question. Given that 90% of a child's brain is developed before the age of 5, how do you, as a candidate, think Seminole County School Board could further collaboration with the Early Learning Coalition of Seminole County to better support the early childhood programs serving children and families in Seminole County? Mr. Manager.
2 minutes or 1?
1 minute.
Thank you.
Well, early intervention is always best. So the earliest that we can partner with our younger students, the better. I think it will give us better outcomes in reading, better outcomes in behavior, with consistent goals, consistency in how we approach things. I believe that I would support that absolutely.
Ms. Garrett?
One of the concerns that is in our current education climate is that people or institutions are using students as a commodity. And so we have early learning centers that are vying for those students. And they don't necessarily want to collaborate with Seminole County Public Schools because we're competing for the same group of students. And so we need to make sure that we get on the same page, that it's a common goal, that we make sure that each of our students, regardless of whether they're going to a public school, a charter school, a private school, that our students have the tools to thrive and have incredible opportunities.
Mr. Newsom?
You know, I don't know much about the early intervention program that was referenced in your question. However, would I support an effort to early detect concerns with our children? Most definitely. So I stand 100%. I would love to learn more about the specific question. Should I be fortunate enough to be in this role? Thank you.
Ms. Price?
I believe it was Dr. Urban that started this initiative, going into hospitals and delivering a bib that says class of 2035 or whatever year it is now, and a storybook and milestones to help parents guide them with developmental milestones. I absolutely support that earlier we get the kids, the more successful they will be, and again, it's going to go to marketing, supporting the programs, and sharing with you all. We have DBK classes in every one of our elementary schools, so thank you.
Mr. Pizza?
Yeah, so one thing that we're looking at is actually our elementary schools. Their reading levels, math scores are pretty actually good, so I think, you know, we should give a round of applause for those elementary school teachers. There's little things that we can do. One thing I propose is having monthly reading competitions hosted by the school board. Have them all in. Give them a book to read, you know, and have them answer trivia questions about the book. We can get these students to have fun with it, learn more. One thing I think I mentioned before was library cards. We can team up with the local libraries and maybe have a field day where they go over to the library and they all come with a library card. And they can check out books and read. That's something that we did in Jersey. I was surprised to hear that they did not do that in Florida. But it's something that I definitely want to do. And we can do that together. Thank you.
Mr. Miller?
Thank you. The Early Learning Center lays the foundation for student success moving forward through our K-12 schools, so I would support the conversation and the partnership on the shared mission that they have with us.
Okay. Do any of you know, this was passed up in D.C., what the Education Freedom Tax Credit is? Now I'll explain it to you. What they passed in Washington was people are now permitted to donate money to a fund for unlimited money for national value and get dollar for dollar back off the tax. Not off their adjusted gross income, off the taxes. So they give $10,000, they get $10,000 less of paying taxes that year. This will be an unlimited fund for vouchers. So no matter what your answers have been, in light of that, would you take a public position to have that overturned? We'll start with you, Ms. Garrett.
Yes. I think that we need to make sure that we reform vouchers. They're here to stay. I understand that, but we need accountability, and to have unlimited resources when our public schools are not being fully funded is abominable. Our Florida State Constitution provides for a fair and equitable public school education. It's embedded in our frameworks. And so, yes, we actually had a conversation a few months ago. You shared about that. Initiative, and I think that we need reform, and having unlimited vouchers would really significantly challenge our ability to uphold our Florida Constitution.
Mr. Newsom, would you be willing to publicly come out to be against the education freedom tax credit?
No, I wouldn't. I don't know a whole lot about the tax credit, but I'm going to explain the credit allows for school choice. Do I
Well, the credit allows for unlimited funds for the voucher nationally, where people are allowed to donate money and get it all back. That's the game.
which in the end allows for school choice.
Unlimited money for vouchers.
But I'm not afraid of school choice. Okay, and I'm not because, and Seminole County should not be afraid either. We need to beat their competitors. We need to fix the problems that are here so that we compete well against other school opportunities. We need to restore the trust of the people and the system and the leadership, and that is the way we win when it comes to competing with school choice. So that's my position.
Ms. Krause.
Okay, as I understand, would I be opposed to that, as you explained?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I would be opposed to it, and I will tell you, recently my old car died. It wasn't that old, but I got a new car, and as part of signing for the loan, they give you the option to donate to the Hope Scholarship, which is already supposed to be funded by the state, so that was a whole ordeal. The issue I have is we are the choice district. 70% of families still choose our public schools, and I am a public school proud day in and day out. Thank you.
Ms. Pizza.
Yes. The one thing I commit to is Seminole County Public Schools. I do not care what Washington, D.C. does. I do not care what Tallahassee does. My concerns is here in our own county and what they're doing in that county. I could say that I'm for it. I could say I'm against it. In the big scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. What matters is what's happening in our school system. Thank you.
Mr. Mills.
Yes, absolutely. Every child in Seminole County deserves access to a free, fair, and equitable education.
Mr. Manager.
I will personally take time to actually research something like that. I think giving a public position on something I haven't read is a little irresponsible, to be honest. So, one, I will go research it and read it, because I really want to understand it thoroughly before I say yes or no, publicly committing to something. And my personal opinion is fully funding public schools is that's my goal, that's my mission. Getting them fully funded here in Seminole County, that's my mission. Getting that done through Tallahassee, probably where we're going to have to go, and that's where I'm willing to go take that avenue.
Final question, and the reason we have to wrap up early is we only have security to 7 p.m.
Oh, you're going to
So. In 1 minute, what is your highest priority if you are elected or re-elected and why? And I think we're up to Mr. Newsom.
I can answer in less than 1 minute. My priority is to restore the trust of our leadership with the parents. I think there is the trust has been broken. There's a good segment of the Seminole County society or voters that do not have trust and confidence in our school system today and our leadership. And I'm not, or superintendent, I'm not picking on anyone in particular. So that would be my goal, to see that trust restored.
My wish would be that every student from pre-K to 12th grade is on a purposeful pathway to a meaningful diploma.
Mr. Pizza.
I think it's thing that overhangs all of us is the debt. If we can't fix the debt, our school system won't exist. So we need to get that debt under control and fixed. But tonight we heard two different stories. We heard one of new leadership and one of old leadership. And I want you to ask yourselves, are you better off 8 years from before, from 8 years ago? Are you better off? Are the teachers less scared of being fired? Are the students getting a better education? If they are, then you know who to vote for. If you do not, I suggest a different option, an option that will deliver, because the pizza always delivers. Thank you.
Mr. Mills.
Public education changed my life, and it started with career technical education. I'm determined to build opportunities for all students, no matter the zip code you grow up in and the school that you go to. We are building our workforce within Seminole County. As the former chairman of the Foundation for the School District, since the inception, we've raised over $60 million that directly impacts our public school programs, and I'm determined to build on the trust and the strategic relationships I've built over the years to ensure that our workforce is being built here.
Mr. Melly.
20 minutes to have.
Sure.
Well, first of all, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for spending your evening with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for hearing all of our ideas. And you have things to think about when you come home. So, one, I'll start with that. Thank you to League of Women Voters and Seminole County PTA for hosting this event. This is phenomenal. It's a fantastic turnout. And if you're wondering, can you do the whole event? Thank everyone. That's because you've heard me talk all night. And you want safe schools, strong academics, and accountable leadership, I'm your man. If you want to talk to me more afterwards, I would be more than happy to stay here. I will stay here until my feet bleed or my fiance leaves me. But I am here. I'm here to listen. I have an open mind. I'm an experienced public servant, a leader, and a parent in this district. I have skin in this game. I'm not making a decision that does not affect me personally, and that's something that not many people can say. So, I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Thank you all for coming out and stay tonight. All the money.
Ms. Garrett.
Well, if I could wave a magic wand, I would have our state representatives fully fund public education, but I do not have a magic wand. And so what can I control here? I'm going back to building those very strong building blocks. This year, in our third grade classes, we have 72% reading proficiency. Third grade is a pivotal year. The data shows that if a student is successfully reading on track by third grade, he or she has the capabilities to not only be successful academically in school, but throughout life. Now, the data also shows that 95% of students are capable of making that mark. And so, you know what? We boosted it 3 points. With 4 more years, it would be my hope to get to 95, but even if we did 3 every year, we would be on great ground. So that's where I am. Literacy, language, and learning.
Wonderful.
Well, I want to thank the candidates for their candor and for their honesty in being here this evening to face the voters. It's always a nice, refreshing thing to do. I want to thank the Seminole County Council PTA and the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this, and I especially want to thank all of you for being conscientious and concerned voters. You should applaud yourself.